Some people may call this justice against vigilante justice, but my point is unusual times call for unusual measures.
There's this game, dare or truth or dare. Here it was both truth and dare, and that is why I was touched and I'm happy.
And every citizen, by the way, has a right to report any wrongdoing, and also, if the case may be, to right of self-defense, by the way, and also take action. So these are three things, and armed with these sections, they can easily confront these goons.
Also put out about a group of women who are getting ready with lathis and everything, saying we are getting ready for the 14th. So 48 hours even before 14th February they were getting ready. I mean, who are all these people, the Karni Marni Senas? How do you call them Senas? How do you give those kind of nomenclature to these vigilante groups?
This is something we cannot allow in our society. What kind of democracy we are talking about if people don't even have the right to go around? And children, listen, love is something. I mean, why don't they go and read Meghdut, Kalidas, all these kind of things, rather than coming here and talking bullshit? These are goons who should be punished.
Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on The Federal. This is called AI with Sanket. This is not the AI as you know it. This is the AI of news, because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. And the one thing where we desperately need intelligence is in our way of handling thugs and goons. Yes, viewers, the manner in which these thugs, these lowlifes, have taken control of the mainstream is very, very disturbing. I would say it was disturbing up until now, where aware citizenry is rising, where we are noticing that people after people in different parts of the country are rising to the occasion and questioning these thugs and goons. The latest example, Jaipur, Valentine's Day. Some men, allegedly from the Bajrang Dal, armed with a scarf and a lathi in their hand, a stick in their hand, tried to intimidate young men and women in a park in Jaipur. They entered, they started questioning, they started asking for names, address, phone number, and open harassment. And exactly at that moment, one aware youth, one young gentleman, whose picture you are now seeing on your screen, started questioning these goons, started inquiring, started asking them some very basic questions. In fact, I would want you to listen in to this entire conversation.
पूछने वाला ऐसे है मतलब किसी से मतलब बजरंग दल का है तो आईडी दिखा नाम बता पूरा नाम तुम्हारी आईडी दिखा नाम है मेरा तुम्हारी आईडी बताओ तुम अरे आईडी दिखा पूरा एड्रेस तुम्हारी आईडी बताओ नोटिस भेजूंगा मैं एड्रेस मेरा कटारे कॉलोनी रामनगर 16 एड्रेस नंबर ठीक है तेरा यार भैया हमका आईडी पूछ रहा तेरा पूरे तुम्हारी प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी थोड़ी है क्या रहे ये क्या मार रहा है इसको छोड़ रहा है क्या सुन तेरे से तो लीली तू तेरा एड्रेस बोल क्या आधार कार्ड लो ना आईडी दिखा दो आईडी दिखा दो ठीक है चल क्या नाम है भाई साहब नाम बताओ पूरा नाम बताओ कौन है लीडर तुम्हारा अरे लीडर नहीं इनको कोर्ट में लपेटेंगे हरेसमेंट कर रहे हैं ना इनको इनके आधार कार्ड से फोटो लो इनको बिठा लो ना आईडी भी तो होगा आईडी लो आपका आईडी नहीं है क्या आईडी फिर आधार कार्ड लो सबका बताओ आधार कार्ड दो भाई अपना आईडी कार्ड दो बजरंग दल का आईडी होगा बजरंग दल का आईडी कोई आईडी नहीं होती अरे सुन आगे भी जरूर लेगा क्या होता है यार इसमें क्या है क्या होता है कोई भी बैंक से बोलेगा नेता बनने निकलेंगे यहाँ पे आधार कार्ड होगा जरा तुम्हारे का आईडी कार्ड और डंडे ले लेके ब्लैकमेलिंग करा तुम करा रहे हो तुम ये डंडे लेके पार्क के अंदर तुम्हारी उम्र क्या है अरे तुम्हारी उम्र क्या है अरे तुम्हारी उम्र क्या है जो नाम पते पूछ रहे हो कितने साल का भाई तू तुम्हें किनको बताएगा तुम्हें कितने नाम पते नाम क्या पूछ रहे हैं यार हम तो बहुत जगह तो पूछ के ये कौन होता है? कौन हो तुम? अरे तो तुम्हें अधिकार किसने दिया? तुम ये डंडा लेके लोगों को डराने निकले हो और लड़कियों को तुम डरा रहे हो यहाँ पे पार्क में अंदर बैठे ही तो थे वो। बात कर रहे हो तुम भी साथ में हो? अरे वो बैठे ही तो थे।
So as you just heard, in this conversation, it is very, very clear that this youngster questioned the goons. He did not raise his voice. He did not commit any illegality, did not beat them up. And purely on the basis of aware questions by an aware citizenry, these goons were pushed back. Is this finally the answer the society needs to give to these goons? Is this finally a realization that law has to be applicable on these goons? I think this is a great news story which needs to be widely circulated and widely discussed. So joining us right now is Brinda Adige, women's rights activist, as well as Mr. Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Thank you so much to both of you. I couldn't have thought of better people to discuss this. You can surely call this, some people may call this justice against vigilante justice. But my point is, unusual times call for unusual measures. And this is not even an unusual measure. I would say this was supposed to become the norm or must become the norm, where an aware citizenry takes their awareness in their own hands, not the law, their awareness in their own hands, and then ask questions and in a very non-violent way confront goons and push them back. This is exactly what happened in Jaipur on Valentine's Day against the thugs of Bajrang Dal. I want to begin with you, Brinda Adige. When you saw those visuals, those pictures of an extremely aware youth, a group of people who were aware in Jaipur, and what they were able to manage, what came to your mind? Do you feel that this is the true power of an informed citizenry?
Absolutely. And the ones who stood up to those goons, those thugs, those mob vigilantes are young people. And the first thought that came to my mind, we can still save ourselves and our country, because that is real people's power. That is active citizenship. That is the voice that is getting muffled every day. But here you saw that they stood up. They stood up to these people who've got all kinds of powers from lots of different other powers. And let us not forget the political patronage that these vigilante groups have. And that is what this group, that boy who kept talking and asking questions, stood up to them to say, we are not going to take it lying down. We are no longer afraid. And they dared them. There's this game, dare or truth or dare. Here it was both truth and dare. And that is why I was touched, and I'm happy that this is something that person stood up. But I'm also sad that in Mother of Democracies, we citizens have to demand something like this, which is constitutional guaranteed to me, to everybody, that one has to stand there and demand and fight and ask for it. But everything said and done, I think it is time that people understand nobody is going to be intimidated or scared by any of these people who get both tacit and overt political patronage, or for that matter, religious patronage.
Mr. Yashovardhan, I want to ask you, you see, none of these people, let's quickly put, if we have a video, if you could put the video on the screen. So in this, Mr. Yashovardhan, in this entire video, you can see one gentleman fighting for the rights of others, while others are also questioning. He is recording, filming, politely inquiring who they are, what is their ID, where are they from, are they aware this is not their private property, this is a public property, why are they carrying a stick in their hand, if they are Bajrang Dal, does it give them the right, why are you wearing this mask, What is proof of your identity? Are you the police? All the right questions. All the right questions. And with the help of these right questions and without taking the law in their own hands, they were able to push these goons behind. Do you feel that this is a model for all citizens to emulate, despite the fact that even now, 2 days later, the Rajasthan government and the Rajasthan police has said nothing? No arrest made, nothing said.
I'm really shocked, and I totally agree with Brinda when she says that the thing which should be available to me as a constitutional right of freedom, movement, expression, for something you have to take so much of courage. I admire the courage of this young man who took on these goons single-handed and spoke to them in a very, very polite fashion. And yes, it is becoming a kind of a model, because people have realized that in a particular cases like this, when police should be overactive in taking these guys away to a police station, questioning them, and then arresting them if they're harassing, people like this. So yes, if this is the norm, and if there is a sanction to it from the political bosses, and there is a kind of a looking away from their bosses, then what does a common man do? He has to fight for his own rights, but doing it in this way, in such a restrained fashion, democratic fashion, is something amazing. And I think this will become the norm. I'm very happy that the social media is spreading it far and wide. It is gaining a lot of acceptance. It is gaining a lot of praise and adulation. And well, Sanket, this may be way to go, to teach at least and shame the policemen that this is their job, which they are not doing. So ordinary citizen is taking it up.
So, Mr. Yashwardhan, just one more question to you, and then we'll go back to Ms. Brinda Adige. What sections, the relevant sections of the law, can be pressed against these goons? You see, this boy was quite aware. He said, and this is the entire sequence of events. These goons came in armed with sticks and scarves, and they started harassing people, asking for their ID, asking for their phone number, basically to shame them, that we'll call your parents. So they started this shaming. And then this man and this boy got together with a couple of others to say, you give me your phone number, you give me your address. What business do you have doing this? And why are you carrying a lathi? And I will take you to court. So he was aware. I want to know from you, for all those youngsters who may find themselves in a similar situation, what law can they throw legally at such goons? That if you do this to me, this is what I am armed with.
You see, this is a complete harassment of an individual. I can't tell you the exact sections, but there is a harassment to people. Number one, this is a public nuisance which you are creating. Third, you are actually intimidating and threatening. The last sections of the, I know the earlier CRPC, I don't even know the reason why the criminal justice was reformed by just changing a few sections here and there and calling it a criminal justice reform. So my knowledge is old, but these are the clear sections which can be said, and you can exactly tell them that we will report this to the police about these 3 allegations against you, and you'll be inside. So please move away from here. And every citizen, by the way, has a right to report any wrongdoing, and also, if the case may be, to right of self-defense, by the way, and also take action. So these are 3 things, and armed with these sections, they can easily confront these goons and say, you are not the one to teach me moral policing. The people who are supposed to teach me are my parents. You are nobody. He's got no one's business that a boy and a girl, or whoever, girl and a girl, or boy, whoever who is with anyone in Lodi Garden. I used to see some of these people, and I called the police sometime. I said, damn well, this is your job to do it and see that they are not being harassed. And there are people who are active. They are doing it. Yes, for the old people like us, we have nothing to lose, so we do it. But the youngsters feel a little, shy because they are with their partners, they are, having a quiet time, and to disturb them is actually breaking public order and peace in the area, for which they should be severely punished. In fact, Sanket, let me tell you, these should be listed as no tolerance crimes. Zero tolerance, what we call about harassing a girl, harassing couples, harassing, single old people, children in such areas, and especially in parks and gardens.
Ms. Brinda Adige, do you feel that what we have witnessed is the positive side of social and digital media? So far, we have always debated its negative side, how it is used to proliferate hate, spread enmity among different sections of the society. Now we have also started seeing, however belated, we have started noticing the positive side of social media, where such pushback is being celebrated. It's reaching the far corners of this country.
Absolutely. Social media, we know, amplifies everything. And the fact that it is amplifying something like this, where a citizen is standing up against the thugs. There's no other word. They are thugs, they are goons, whatever may be their denominations and whatever might be their political and other support, they are disturbing public peace. If there were women and girls at that spot, I would want to add to Dr. Yashovardhan's IPC only, because I don't know much of the BNS, 304, outraging modesty, stalking, talking up, in a violent manner over there. We don't know what else you might have done as men, you would have done to those girls who were there. So add all of those sections, and it is all within the purview of law and the penal codes and the police. Where are the beat police? Knowing that it was 14th of February, should the police not have stepped up? In my state, in Karnataka, police stepped up everywhere. Theaters, parks, public places, because they said, okay, there might be some of these antisocial elements, fringe elements, considering themselves to be mainstream, coming there. So it is the job of the state to say that there may be these kind of elements that might trouble the larger majority of the citizens, the taxpayers, and so we must put people there, get our communities or even the police to be there on more beat police and checking on all of this. But that said, I think it is time now for us to continuously put everything on social media. And it is the people who are part of the social media who are promoting it. Earlier, it was, like you mentioned, hatred, enmity, intolerance, and all kinds of bigotry. But today we are looking at people wanting to promote people standing up. And what you need to reiterate, Sanket, these are our constitutional rights guaranteed to us by our constitution, that we have the right to move anywhere that we want. We can sit wherever we want with whoever we want. Of course, we are not too happy with public display of affection, but sitting together at a park bench, standing there, walking together, it is not harming anybody. Maybe we are, after all, the land of Kama Sutra, and we don't want to talk about it. But everything said and done, we need to constantly educate ourselves and our people that these are your constitutional rights. Yours.
No, my point is, Ms. Brinda Adige, my point is, if you're talking about indecency in public places, right? What business does a Bajrang Dal activist have in pointing this out? My point is this vigilantism, and we all know that this is constructed. Maybe they all sit together and decide, you go to this park, I will go to this park, and then we'll film what we have done. So it is just moral and cultural policing. For all you know, there was no indecency happening at the Jyotiba Phule Park in Jaipur. They just wanted to create a scene.
You rarely see indecency like the way that is portrayed on films and other places. So let's not even go there. We are just simply talking about these mob vigilante groups that have taken it upon themselves. And the same social media also put out about a group of women who are getting ready with, lathis and everything, saying we are getting ready for the 14th. So 48 hours even before 14th February, they were getting ready. I mean, who are all these people? The Karni Marni Senas. How do you call them Senas? How do you give those kind of nomenclature to these vigilante groups who have taken it upon themselves, but with political tacit and overt support, that they can go around telling people what to do and what not to do? The police are there. Otherwise,
Mr.
they're shut
Yashovardhan
down all
Azad,
the police
I
stations.
don't think any of these, first of all, these organizations must not be called fringe. Because to be able to operate with this type of impunity, you can't do it without political patronage. So whether it is the Sri Ram Sena in Karnataka or the Karni Sena in Rajasthan, there is a certain section of the society armed with support in the administration that allows them to operate with impunity. Which is why my next question to you, do you feel that immediate questions must be asked of the Rajasthan government why these people have not been identified despite the fact that they are clearly visible? Their identities are clearly visible. They have not been identified, no FIR, no statement.
In fact, after what I have seen here, I'm the first one who's going to tweet and ask the chief minister and the DGP as to why action has not been taken, because this sends such a message to the entire country that anybody, any armed goon group can just go and threaten people. And Sanket, your point, which was a very important point, in the moral policing, is the Bajrang Dal going to tell me the level of obscenity or the kind of thing which a couple is doing? Yes, suppose a couple kisses in the park. It is shown on the films. That's a public viewing. Is that wrong? Who are they? I don't understand. What is the degree of obscenity which we are talking about? And what can happen in a park during the day? Tell me. I used to walk in Lodi for years, so many years. I used to see these couples, these boys and girls, playing around, holding hands or something like that. What else? And then I used to see some people in plain clothes trying to reach them and trying to extort money. And I was so sad that once a couple came to me and said, yes, we gave 100 rupees. This is something we cannot allow in our society. What kind of democracy we are talking about if people don't even have the right to go around? And children, listen, love is something. I mean, why don't they go and read Meghdut, Kalidas, all these kind of things rather than coming here and talking bullshit? These are goons who should be punished. And as I said, when earlier days when we were in the police, we used to carry on campaigns in Bhopal. I was DIG there. That outside women's colleges, if you see anything, just holding up and haul him up to the police station. There can be no two ways about this. And why they are not doing it, I'm extremely agitated to see this. And as I told you, I promise you, I'm the first person who will not only raise it on Twitter or all the platforms, but also write a letter to them.
Thank you, Mr. Azad. Thank you. I mean, this will be great service with voices like you, as senior as you, who will take up this cause. I'm sure we can at least expect something to change. But the point is, this is also a reflection, Brinda Adige, and the question to both of you actually, on the mindset of the police itself. I hope you guys recall, just a few months ago, a picture of a UP police cop, lady police officer, who went to a park along with other police officials and pulled up a girl for sitting on a park bench with her brother, because the cop thought that the girl is sitting with some random boy. So the moral policing is happening from the police itself. And when she was caught on camera, when she was able to identify कि this is the brother, she then passes another moral judgment. किसी बड़े को लेके आना चाहिए था. She should have come with someone elderly. What sort of moral policing is there? Come with a guardian. Brinda Adige.
Yeah, Sanket, we are a nation that is so deeply patriarchal, sexist, and misogynistic that we don't even believe that consenting adults can walk hand in hand, sit together in a park, hold each other, hug each other. We don't accept that at all. We are happy only, like Dr. Yashovardhan said, to watch all of these on films. But that said, the question that you are asking just now, who are the police? Do police get taught in their training colleges that this is what you're supposed to do? Across India, let's not forget, a couple of years ago, there was a Romeo squad in UP whose job was only to check on these kind of things, saying we are trying to keep women safe. Putting protection in this kind of a patriarchal protection is not keeping women safe. And let me also tell you that every state has a group of women police with different names, from Rani Chennamma to whatever, trying to protect women in public places who may be standing by themselves at bus stops or probably at the park or wherever, trying to protect them, asking these questions. So the first case that must be registered is on the police, because it's absolutely the power that is being exerted over there. We keep talking about the colonial powers of the police, but here now we'll also have to talk about this so-called cultural policing, for which they are not being paid for, but they have taken it upon themselves. But we can't blame the police alone. They come from your community and my community. It is the political bosses, it is the other leaders who are lobbying for something like this and saying, control. You tell them how they should be, how they should behave, how they should walk and talk and dress. And we are not questioning those people. They are all the sarkari naukars to whom your tax and my tax is being paid. And we are refusing to challenge them and saying, how did you decide that police can go about doing this kind of let's not talk about moral policing. We are giving it too much of a nomenclature. No, that is not policing. Simple. That is not what your police manual talks about. That is not what you're getting paid for. So what you're doing is illegal. It's against the citizens of this nation, citizens of a particular state. That is not policing. That's what we have to tell them. And why I want to keep calling these mob vigilante fringe is I still have hope. And as long as I can call them fringe, I keep saying, we'll fight them, we'll challenge them.
I'll tell you what must not become fringe is that youth in Jaipur who questioned these goons, fought them and pushed them out of the park. That should not become fringe. So a word towards the end for these youngsters who are leading this good fight. Yashovardhan Azad and then Brinda Adige, one by one. Let's quickly put out that visual, the video on screen. Just the video without the audio. Yes, Mr. Yashovardhan Azad.
Sanket, first a request to you that this courageous man, his name should be disclosed so that a lot of people more can congratulate him. This will be extremely important. And let me at least give a call to the youth. Don't submit to this kind of gundagardi. This is gundagardi. This is mob violence. And there are a list of sections which, Brinda and I already said, and which are here. It's sexual harassment, it's assault or criminal force to a woman, there is insult to the modesty, there is criminal intimidation, affray, unlawful assembly, wrongful restraint. All these kinds of things you can throw at them and they will definitely be scared. But let me tell you the last thing. India is ours. And how we keep it, it is also our responsibility. So respond with courage and all of us will support you.
Brinda Adige, last word for this courageous gentleman, this courageous boy. And I'm trying to find out what his name is. We are trying to reach out to him for an interview, congratulate him, and hope that he motivates many others.
May his tribe increase by the hour. The youth are not our tomorrow. The youth, you are our today. And that's exactly the hope that I will go with every day, because these are the kind of people that we must educate and create every day. Let's start educating all our young people in colleges and institutions. This is your country, and it is up to you to see that you make this country exactly like what you want it to be for yourselves and for your children and for our grandchildren. And remember, the police, your job is to protect us and keep us safe, not protect some notion of what is right and what is morally wrong. Your job morally and legally is to protect every citizen of this nation. That is your job. You're being paid
You know,
for it.
Brinda Adige and Mr. Yashwardhan, what I love about this video is the way they are being pushed out of the park. Politely, yet firmly, they are being
Yes.
shown their place. Get out. This is not your park. Keep your moral judgment to yourself. The manner in which it was done is so
Something which I
encouraging.
want to add, Sanket, one thing. I wish you also make this in Hindi, because your Hindi is damn good, so that it reaches even wider people and across India. People know.
I'll do that. The problem is that citizenry has to be aware and they have to fight these goons everywhere in the country, not just
Yes.
in the Hindi belt. You see,
everywhere.
they're everywhere. So
Happening more
let me
in
address.
Hindi belt. That's why I told you.
It's happening more
I
in the
will
Hindi
definitely
belt.
do it.
Keep that in mind.
Thanks.
I will definitely do it, but this is for our audience who
I'm
does
always
not
there.
know Hindi. Thank you so much, Mr. Yashwardhan Azad, as well as Brinda Adige, for joining us. Thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I must say this is great news for the society. This is great news for all of us. Thank you so much.